I wasn't here when Ken was hired. My understanding is that the decision was made by the former president, Tommy Smith.
Steve, was there, speaking of more questions, was there concern, when Marcus was injured a few weeks ago against Miami and remained in the game, what turned out to be a sprained MCL, was there concern from an ownership standpoint that further damage could possibly have been done at that point?
I didn't hear that exact concern, John. I did hear Amy. She has repeatedly mentioned Marcus's health to me. I think she actually spoke to Mike about it this morning. I know she had talked to Ken about it and to Rustin. She's very concerned about making sure that we do everything that's necessary, including keeping him out of games in order to avoid making his current injuries any worse.
Mike, up to this point, how would you describe, especially the offensive coaches, as far as the degree of everybody being on the same page? If there were disagreements, how vocal were some of those disagreements?
Oh, I don't. There's none vocal. We're all on the same page. We work well together. I mean, really well together. There's never going to be a time that everybody, agrees with everything. But it's not when the day is over and we walk out the door, we're in total agreement of how things should be done. And that's every staff that I've been on. You first of all, you want all the input you can and take it all in, gather that information, and sometimes guys take it personal, but they don't take it to a point that there's going to be any vocal. We've been on the same page. I mean, we've been full speed ahead with what we've been doing. Just need to change some things now that we're making changes.
Mike, we know there are offensive line issues. Are the solutions to those issues in the short term in-house that could really make a difference?
We're going to find out. I haven't had a chance to sit down with Rustin at all in regards to our personnel and what we're going to do. I think he has a good idea of what our thoughts are on the offensive line, but our roster right now is a roster that's going to get us out of the hole we're in. And if we make some changes, that's something Rustin and I will talk about. But right now, we're talking about in-house changes.
Steve, can you kind of walk us through the next couple of months how you and ownership have a plan in place as far as a list of names, see how things go? How will you work that?
We've only really started the process of sort of outlining details about doing a head coach search. We've done it before. We can do that again. We sort of look in silos for different kinds of head coach candidates. The last time we were looking for a head coach, we ended up starting with a list of about 100 people, and over the process of several weeks, several days, narrowed that down to less than 10. And then we ended up with 4 or so candidates on the list, one of whom is sitting beside me, I might add, and interviewed those people after Jeff had left. But we'll do that same thing again. We'll do a very wide search, looking among all kinds of candidates, people who are coordinators, people who are former head coaches and not working, people who are head coaches who might lose their job, college coaches. We'll have a group of candidates organized into categories and then sort of narrow that down. Because we've already made a decision about our former head coach, we can start that process a little earlier. You can't talk to the guys that are still working, but you can certainly put them on a list and try to evaluate them that way internally. Plus, we have Rustin here. He's also been through that process. He can, help with that. So we'll also work with our ownership group and with our controlling owner about candidates. And at the same time, we'll be conducting an evaluation of Mike.
Mike, you've got 9 games to win this job. How daunting is that?
The old cliche of just going to take the Saints on, see if we can get this one first, and then I'll worry about everything else. But this is an important game for us.
Steve, what do you think of the direction? We haven't talked to you in this setting in a while. That you took on a lot when you got here, and there was a lot coming into the season, stage coaching
right.
staff, football, business. What's the state of the organization right now?
I see only improvement, at least from the time that I've been here. We had, a very difficult problem in our ticket office before I got here. I think we have that pretty much squared away and put to bed. We had a lot of great people in our organization working to try and get that done. We also had some deficiencies in our stadium operations. I think we have most of those corrected, Paul. We always want to do better. We want our suite holders and our PSL holders, all of our guests at Nissan Stadium, to have a great experience. We think that we're getting there where that's concerned. Aramark, this past week, as you know, replaced their manager at the stadium. We've also started a number of physical upgrades to the building. Our new partnership with Nissan has been tremendous. It has already changed the face of our stadium on game day. It will only get better over time. I think our employees in general believe that we're on the right track. People tell me that our employees are more comfortable in the situation with our front office than they have been in some time. So I feel good about where we are. Change is never easy. Changing head coaches is never easy. It's always a difficult thing to do, but I think it's a positive thing for our organization and for our fans. We have someone who's done it before on our staff and who's indicated already to me his excitement about taking over and trying to help us get a better footing on the field. So I think we're all headed in the right direction. I think all those things are pluses and positives. Do we still have things we need to work on? You bet. But we're spending every day and sometimes nights trying to work on those things and get us where we need to be.
Stephen, the conversation over the last couple of weeks with ownership was in evaluating whether or not to get rid of the former coach. Was the money that he would be owed ever brought up?
Never a consideration. In all my years with our organization, both with Mr. Adams and now with Amy, I have never seen them shy away from spending money to help us get better. I never saw Mr. Adams turn down signing a player, turn down signing a free agent, draft somebody high in the draft and not be willing to pay them what he thought they were worth. That's something our organization has really been blessed about, is that our ownership has never been afraid to spend money to try and get better.
Steve, do you think Ken expected this?
George, that's a question we just have to ask Ken. I don't know. He didn't seem terribly surprised to me when Rustin and I met with him this morning, but you never know. He may have thought that he might get another few weeks. I just don't know. You'd need to ask him.
Mike, how's your style different than Ken's?
Oh, probably a little more maybe vocal, team meetings, a little bit more. I'm going to preach what I believe in. Not that he didn't. This is hard for me to even sit here and compare with Ken because of my relationship with him and my respect for him. But I can't say there's something that's going to just stick out one thing over the other for me to him, other than I know I'm kind of put in a position right here that I got to get a team out of a 1-6 start, and I'm going to do what I can. The one thing I tell the tight ends, and they know this, and I've told, is do your job and do it the best you can. And that you can go home and feel good about yourself, feel good about being around your family, and that's all I expect from you. And that's all I'm going to expect from these guys. And that's the way I approach work, and that's the way it's going to be done.
There's some guys who are in the doghouse that currently, some connected to the run game you oversee. Do they get fresh starts now, or does what they've done up to this time, that you're still looking at resume?
No, I think we have a really young offensive group. There's some guys on the offensive line, the backs, obviously, the receivers. I think now that there is change, that they need to maybe have a talking to, that this is what's expected. I know they've had one, maybe that this is in store for another one, that they're hearing the same message. But we got to do better, and some of our young guys are going to put some more pressure on them to play better.
That's today's press conference from St. Thomas Sports Park. Quite the shocker. Ken Whisenhunt fired mid-season going into week number 9. I said last night on Titans Talk I didn't think it would happen mid-season because the bye week happened so early, and if it was going to happen, I thought it would happen after the Jacksonville game, where it would give the team more time to prepare for a situation exactly like this with Mike Mularkey, where you have the long weekend because they play in Jacksonville on a Thursday night. They would then have the weekend off to prepare for that next week and next opponent. Some of the takeaways from the press conference from Mike Mularkey. Jason Michael will be the offensive coordinator and call plays. Michael was the offensive coordinator by title only under Ken Whisenhunt. Balance, important offensively. I think he's speaking directly to the run game in that area. Also blocking schemes. Protecting Marcus Mariota, priority number 1 for Mike Mularkey. He will play to his players' talents and will scheme around them instead of vice versa, forcing the players to play within the scheme that he dictates. And he says, what's the identity? He wants to play tough, physical football. Don't beat yourself with penalties, turnovers, mental errors. And that's what he's asked of his tight ends. And his tight ends, by the way, today told him when they spoke to him on the phone, hey, if you ask of the team what you ask of us, your message will be received. Coming up, we'll wrap things up here on SportsLine on News Channel 5 Plus.